Hi, good evening, everyone. Today is January 17th, 2023, and welcome to our Town of Austining work session. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so just a few announcements. We've been hard at work interviewing the many applicants for the open town council position. Thank you to all the fine candidates who have applied. It is very difficult to choose from such a talented pool of community-minded people. We'll be making a decision by the end of the week. It was a great weekend to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I was honored to join my colleagues in government, Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg, Mayor Rika Levin, Mayor Steve Vesio, council members Jennifer Fields Twill and council member Greg Meyer, Judge Mark Reisman, Judge Ben Felcher Levitt, for the Briarcliff Austining Ministerial Association celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King. There's a tongue twister. It is one of my favorite events of the year. Its inspirational multi-denominational program is just one example of how our many amazing religious organizations work together. Thank you, Pastor Sean Jones and the Star of Bethlehem for hosting this year. BOMA, which is what Briarcliff Austining Minstrel Association is called for short, also organizes a program for anyone who needs shelter or a meal during the colder months. Each church or congregation takes a turn at providing a warm, safe place to sleep, a hot meal for dinner, and I believe breakfast and a bag lunch as well. If you or anyone you know needs help, just reach out to BOMA, the Briarcliff Austining Minstrel Association, or any one of the member religious organizations, and they will bring you to the right one for the month. In the words of Martin Luther King, life's most persistent, urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And this group really steps up to answer it admirably. This weekend, I also attended the African American Men of Westchester 22nd Annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy Awards luncheon for young, impressive people. They had many winners. Congratulations to all the winners. They were impressive examples of our next generation. And anyone who wants to join our new Assemblywoman in taking the Escape from Sing Sing 2023 plunge to benefit Galata House, it will be held on Saturday, February 18th at 10 a.m. at Lewis Engle Park. I have not committed to this, but it's a good fundraiser. It's for a good cause. Also, keep your eye out for the upcoming T-Town Hudson River Eagle Fest. It will be held on Saturday, February 4th from 9 to 4. Tickets can be purchased online at ttown.org and check their website for more information. That's it for me. Anybody have anything? All right. Today we have Superintendent of Parks and Rec, Bill Garrison, to give his departmental report on the goings-on of our Recreation Department. Take it away, Bill.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And thank you. Just wanted to give a little bit of recap of the parks usage in 2022. As you know, with COVID going on, we saw a tremendous increase in people using our parks, both in the town and the village. And our park facility rentals with the pavilions, the picnic areas, ball fields remained about the same in 2022 compared to 2021, which if you go back even further, it's increased even more. So kind of what it's showing us is that COVID caused people to get out more into the parks. And now people are still using the parks at that level. So been very busy. Almost every ball field, once the ball fields are open, are used 7 days a week. The town parks department does a great job in getting the fields and the parks ready. We know that this coming year is going to be very exciting, especially at Ryder Park with the new fencing and netting. I know that the baseball is looking so forward to using that facility. And with the other parks too, with the upgrades that have been happening with Sally Swopes, with the walking path, I know Muriel's been putting in some benches there that he's been making, just making a lot of good changes in the parks. So I just wanted to, usually Muriel comes on and gives the parks report, which he already does, but I just wanted to touch base on that before I get into my recreation report. So as far as recreation programming, it remains strong. We've got good registration numbers in all of our programs. We've been increasing our new programming. We're offering different things such as yoga is going to be coming online soon. We're offering a cricket class, which if you don't know what that is, that's the new fad in doing and making your own t-shirts and printing, using a printer, a cutter printer that we have at the rec center. We have an adult class that's open for registration right now. We're going to also have a youth class that's going to be starting as well. We anticipate that program is going to be very popular, where you can come in and make your own t-shirts, hats, printing on basically whatever, mugs, glasses. It's a really kind of a cool program. We got one of the things that we really did in 2022, which I'm very happy to report, is that we increased our senior programming. This was an area that we didn't have a lot of programs. The nutrition program does a lot of great programming for the individuals that attend that. But for other individuals who are not part of that program, there was not a lot of senior recreation programming. So last year in 2022, we increased doing programming. We did a couple casino trips. We did a lunch trip to City Island Lobster House, Renegade baseball game, and we did a holiday party luncheon at Portland Manor, where we had about 85 seniors attend. So that was really great. We've got a lot of great things planned in 2023 with some barbecues, some musical social events, and we're looking forward to that. So, as I'm saying that, it's probably something I should keep this board aware of, so that if you are able to attend one of these events, it'd be great to have you there. A couple things coming up, just some dates to put down. We have the fireworks planned for Monday, July 3rd. The rain date on that is Friday, July 7th. Hopefully there will be no rain date, and we'll be able to start our River Jam concert series on that Friday, July 7th. We currently, soon as we got back to work on January 2nd or January 3rd, whatever that Tuesday was, the phone started ringing. Bands wanted to know if they could play at the River Jam series. It just was emails, and so we already have about 8 bands that have requested or have filled out an application to be a part of the River Jam series. It's something that these bands really want to be a part of. And currently that application is found on the Rec and Parks page on the village website. And we can share it to get onto the town website as well. But if somebody's asking you, just direct them to there. We're going to be accepting applications through March. And then we're going to have a committee that will select the 9 bands that are going to be participating in the River Jam series. January is start of our winter recreation programming, which started last week, but it's also start of our planning for the summer with our biggest and most challenging program that we run, our summer camp, where we have over 550 Ossining youth attending, grades 1 through 8. So we're beginning that process. The town has one of the camps at Ryder Park, and we are looking forward to another successful summer and hiring Ossining youth to be a part of the camp. We are the largest summer youth employer in the village and town when it comes to summer camp, where we have nearly 100 kids ages 16 and up that work for us during that process. So it takes a long time to get kids to commit, get their paperwork in, and train them and get them ready to become a camp counselor, which will start the end of June. We're also, one of the things that the town has been a sponsor of for a long period of time is the town softball program. And this is a men's and women's league during the summer that is run, as well as a co-ed league in the fall. This past year, we made some changes to the league. Apparently, over the years, the recreation department has been kind of out of the organizing and coordinating of it. And last year, I felt it was important for the department to get back involved. So we did so, and we will do so more even this coming year to handle the program. It is a successful program. It's interesting, though. We found about 40% of the participants are not Austining residents. So that is something that probably should be discussed at some point. There is a fee for the teams to play, but they do get the fields and lights and all that as part of the entry fee. But it's a popular program. A lot of people enjoy it. We had a couple all-star game that we did last year, home run derby, and barbecue, and it was a good time for the players and families that were involved in that. So all in all, we're doing very well. We're looking to continue our increase in programming at the community center, getting ready for summer camp. And one thing I should announce is that many of you knew Artist Thornton, who was a longtime 15 to 17-year worker at the rec center. She retired in January, the first part of the January. So already in 3 weeks, we missed her tremendously. And I know that the children in the after-school program also miss her tremendously. But we're looking to refill that position as soon as we can, because it's such an important position with the after-school program and an evening program. She, over her years, connected with most of, she's amazing. She knows almost every kid's name in this village and town. And it's everywhere I go, or every kid that came into the community center, she seemed to know. So she's going to be a big loss for us. But she said she's going to be around. If we need her, we can bring her in. So that's always an option for us. So, I'll take time for any questions or comments or concerns that you folks might have regarding the Recreation and Parks Department.
How are we doing with the kayak rentals? The kayak space to store your kayak rentals?
Yeah, so I believe we had, I don't have the exact number, but I believe it was in the teens that we had. We were still trying to track down some folks that had boats there. We did remove a couple boats out of there. I think we need better signage and just get people understanding what we need to be doing down there.
And how many spaces do we have available?
We have a lot. I don't know the exact number, but Mario had completed at least 4 racks, and we were only on 2. So we had 2 open racks. So we've got plenty of room to take on more kayaks.
And people can go through the rec department to reserve a space for their kayak down there?
Yep. So they'll go online. They pay the fee for the 1-year storage, and we reach out to them and we give them a number. So we know whose kayak is at what number, what rack number, and what space number. And that's how we maintain a list of who's down there and where they should be.
Great.
No, just I was wondering about the kitchen. Was that being done at the rec? Is that almost finished? The nutrition
They
program?
ran into a little snag, so not quite yet.
All right, that's all. Thanks.
No question, just a comment. My son is 4 and he had been going to the slime and glow class, and it was a huge success. So he's been obsessed with it. So thank you and kudos to your team.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you have a kids' night or a parents' night out coming up next week?
Right. So every month we've been having a kids' night out, which really is a parents' night out. It's an opportunity to drop your kids off for a couple hours, for parents to head over on Main Street and hit some of the restaurants. And it's been extremely successful. We've had about 70 to 75 kids each night for these kids' night out. And we also do a special kids' night out. And this is a kids' night out program with children with special needs. This program was started. We had some parents that reached out to us and were very interested in getting this and helping us, and they come and they support this program. And we've been having about 10 to 15 kids along with their parents joining us on those nights as well. So it's been very popular.
Great, great. Okay. Well, thank you for your report and thank you for all the work that you do. Our next discussion, we're going to keep you around for because we're talking about playgrounds. And we were very fortunate to have a grant from $100,000 grant from Senator Harkin for Gerlach Park and $100,000 SAM grant from Senator Elijah Reichlin Melnick and another pending $75,000 grant for Ryder Park for expanding the scope and the resurfacing it. So, I mean, we really thank these senators for their investment in Ossining and particularly for expanding the recreational opportunities for the children in our community. But I understand it's time for us to talk about what kind of playground we're going to put in. So you just, well, talk to me. You said the Rec Advisory Board's been discussing it. Have you had a lot of feedback from parents? Just expand on that, please.
Sure. So we've got some, I can share my screen. I can show you the proposals that we received. Okay. So the town has been using this company, Compan. This is the playground that was put in at Buck Johnson, also the playground that was down at Lewis Angle. They are on the Sourcewell contract, so we can go to them without going out to bid. Seems it's a good fit. This is one of the, let me get here, sorry. There was 3 proposals for Gerlach Park. This is what basically $100,000, around $100,000 will get you. What you'll find is that kind of a rule of thumb is that the playground unit on $100,000 is going to be about $60,000 for the unit itself, and then the $40,000 for installation and for surfacing, which is the engineered wood chips. So this is one, and we went through this document last week with the Recreation Advisory Board. We have 4 members that are going to review this even more closely. And then as a group of 4, like a subcommittee is going to make a recommendation back to the Recreation Advisory Board on which model we're looking at. And then that would come back to the town board for final approval. We put in a playground, as you may or may not know, into Vets Park in the village this past year. And that was the process that we followed. We did have some people attend our Zoom meeting, residents in the community that were very concerned about the inclusivity of the playground. So we did what we could to enhance and increase the accessibility of the playground that we put in at Vets. And just so that people understand, all the playgrounds that we put in are ADA compliant. There is just a different level of that ADA compliancy. If any of you ever been to the park in Peekskill that's at their waterfront, that is a higher level inclusive playground. And the main component to that makes it that is that there is a ramp that allows a person in a wheelchair to get right up inside of the playground and assess some of the features of that playground up on the deck of the playground. Other playgrounds might have a swing where you can wheel a wheelchair into it. There's other features that are called transfer stations where you could transfer someone who is in a wheelchair onto an element like a slide or some other piece of equipment. So while there is, there's just so that people are aware that there is different levels of the ADA compliancy. The more you add to it, the more expensive it gets, and the smaller your playground unit's going to be, or the features that you have. So quickly, this is just option number one. What's good about all these options is that they've got the deck or the towers, which they're called, usually with a slide or some sort of climbing. But then they also have these ground features, and these are what help make the playground inclusive. Any child can go up and play these. If they're in a wheelchair, they can get on there. There is a difference in the surfacing. There is the engineered wood fiber, which are the wood chips. And just so you know too, these are not just wood chips that are picked up by the DPW. They're called engineered wood fiber. They're designed specifically for playgrounds. We have to meet a certain depth when we put them into the playgrounds. And they are ADA compliant as well, that they're firm enough for wheelchairs to go onto that surface. The other option is a poured in place rubber, which if you visited our park up in Vets, when we put that playground in, we have it about half of the poured in place rubber. Makes it a lot more accessible and easier for folks and people that are in wheelchairs to get into the park area. But it is a extremely expensive piece of it. And the life on that is about 12 years. Maybe you could get 15 out of it, depending upon the use. There's also some swings. You can see in this photo here that one of the swings in that first bay is for an ADA seat. Again, so that it could be a swing that meets ADA compliancy. These are just the different features that were on the ground. So you can see right in here, just that one ground unit, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pieces of areas or stations, so to say, that you could play at. This unit right here that we're looking at is 119,000. So if that was something that we would look at, obviously, we would look for the town to see if there's additional funding of 19,000 over the top of that grant.
Bill, how long do we have a time frame as to how long these prices are locked in?
These are expired at end of May right now. But I think if we're getting closer to that, we could, extend that out. We were looking to get a something at our February meeting that we could give to the board for one of your February meetings, whether it be the committee come to a work session or bring it to a legislation session as well. We can do that.
No, I appreciate that. I just, with prices and everything as they are right now, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't up against like a hard timeline.
Yeah, no, but it is something that just what we ran into last year when we did the Vets part was that by the time we ordered it was later in the year. We did run into some shipping issues, and we also ran into getting an installer, and we were lucky that we had some warm weather in the first part of November, and we were able to get that playground in because the installers, they got very busy. There's a lot of money that's around right now for playgrounds, and schools are putting them in and municipalities. So it's something that when we're ready to make that decision, hopefully we can make it quickly. We can get it ordered and get a scheduled date of installation. This is another option too. Again, it's got the land, the ground level activities, more of a kind of a tower type thing here. What's interesting with this is they show in this option on the right-hand side, let's see if I can find it right here is it's a play panel. And I know Supervisor Feldman, you were asking about that component because talking about having like a Harmony Park. This would be kind of like a mini Harmony Park. And it might, that might be a good spot for, Ryder Park. But there's some, musical tubes there and some drums and a megaphone and some other fun things.
I really did like looking at some of the musical playground equipment, and I thought it would be a good addition to at least one of our parks as an
Right.
option. I think that's also something that, is ADA accessible, that, it's something that anybody can do.
Yep. So the price on this was 106,000. So a little closer to our grant. And this was the third option for Gerlach Park. Again, you got, this is like a 2-deck system connected by like a cable bridge. It's got ground options again. It's called the double mega deck with a tower. This is the play panel.
Kids even know what a clock face is anymore? Talk about that.
Probably not. And then this one comes in at $90,000. So it's all these are with the wood fiber being a part of the surfacing.
How
So
easy is it for a kid in a wheelchair or anybody in a wheelchair to get to the Gerlach play area?
that one of the things we'd have to determine there is because there's a little bit of a slope. So we have to see if that slope actually is ADA compliant. I believe it's going to be. If not, you would have to put in switchbacks to make it compliant. But I don't think the slope of that is enough, but we would probably want to check that out soon.
Okay, we should probably do that before we order,
Yep. I
playground.
think it's gonna be okay, but we should really check it out.
Great, thank you.
Okay. With Ryder Park, I can find that one. We'll have Ryder Park here. Oh yeah, you know what? We didn't get to the Ryder Park one. That's why I don't have it. Ryder Park is an interesting situation because we do have a playground there that is not that old. It's not accessible. So there would be some work that would need to be done to make it accessible from the parking area. If there is $175 available, you could put in a new playground, a small one, probably about the size that's there, or what we're looking at here, with the cord in place, rubber. But the decision should be made if there's, are we going to pull that playground out, which really is not needed or recommended at this time. It's still in good shape. So I don't know, what the thought process was there when the grants were being received. There was a proposal in there for kind of another addition to the playground, which was kind of like a workout area. That's one of the things that's been coming up in parks. We have one down at Lewis Engo, where it's an area that I do see it get utilized. People are there using these outdoor fitness components to putting in a workout, so that's an option as well. But that's it's going to really depend on the you know, we have to make the determination, do we have another 10 or 15 years life out of that playground that's in there? If so, then it would make sense to go ahead and put the poured in place surfacing and making the accommodations to make it more accessible with ramps and paving from the parking lot up into the playground area. If we don't think that that playground is going to be something that's going to be there for 10 or 15 more years, then we probably should not do the poured in place rubber, and maybe make go with this additional plan of adding a piece of fitness area, and that could be poured in place. So I think we've got to just go back and get some more quotes on that and figure out what we need to do.
Whatever happened to the idea of restoring the fitness trail around Ryder Park?
Yeah, it was brought up every once in a while, but it never really got any legs and went any further. I know that most of it's been falling apart and being torn down because it's so old. But that's an option too, where you could put some of these in on a fitness trail. I think that the thought was, hey, we could get the port in place and put it into this playground, but it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant because of the tree roots. I think that that might interfere with the poured in place surface. So I'd want to talk to somebody who's a little more knowledgeable about that, or at least go look at the situation.
Yeah. So I'll work with Mario on that. And we'll talk more with the Recreation Advisory Board to see what their thoughts are. We are meeting this Thursday with a rep from Compan, so we'll be visiting the parks and get their recommendations as well, because that'll be helpful, because they do this a lot more than we do. And we can get back and give you update you on that information.
I mean, if we feel that the Ryder Park has more life to it, well, one, I'd love to see more parent input, from the community about, what they'd like to see, even put the proposals out and, just try to get more engagement from the community about what they would like, especially the neighborhoods that the parks are in. But if we feel that the Ryder Park has more life to it, maybe we can put a few more musical components there, or fitness and musical components there, and just kind of mix it up and give the kids more options.
Yeah, and then there's also like the option that we did with Vets Park, where you do some pour in place in those areas, perhaps, so that you do enhance those ground level areas, make them very accessible with the poured in place surfacing. So that we can kind of mix it up and come up with a good solution.
Sounds good. I'd love to hear more.
Okay.
Bill, is Compan someone who could weigh in on the viability of the long-term use of Ryder Park as it's currently existing?
Yes, that's absolutely. So that's what we're going to be meeting with them and asking them what their recommendation as well.
Okay.
I'm also working we are putting in a playground at Sparta for the village. It's a different company that we're using, and I'm also their rep to agreed to come and take a look at it and just put his input in it as well. So we have a person that's not vested in us buying something from him.
No, obviously,
I was just saying-
but if Compan's a long-term, vendor for the town and the village, there's a good relationship,
Yep.
My thought just was, who's going to make that determination? That was really
Yep.
all.
And so go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we conclude that Ryder Park is fine how it is, it is not that difficult to repurpose a grant from the Senate. So just something to keep in mind if we want to sort of use that towards a different park or change the scope of what was originally agreed to.
Okay, that's good to know.
Just have one question, Bill. Is the maintenance schedule difference between the wood chips and the poured in place? I know the price is different, but I was just wondering, like, the annual maintenance of it. Would that be different between the two?
Yeah, so the maintenance for the poured in place is really zero. It's just keeping it clean and brushing it and keeping it clean, where the engineered wood fiber you are constantly having to go in and rake that during the busy season. As you've probably seen where you're at a playground, at the bottom of the slide is kind of a hole or under swing. So good maintenance is keeping that level, adding more wood chips as you need it. Almost every playground needs new wood chips every year. I think, you know, it gets expensive in the thousands of dollars for wood chips each year for the playgrounds. So it does add up quickly.
And just to go off on that, is the playground equipment maintenance free, or is that gonna have to be attention throughout its life?
It's maintenance free. We started in the village and we're going to be starting it in the town as well. We have an application called Productive Parks. It's a cloud-based application software program where the maintenance guys will be doing monthly inspections of each of the playgrounds. This is important because one, it will identify maintenance issues and any safety issues that we can take care of immediately. It also would help legally as well if you have documents that you can provide where you are ongoing maintenance inspections and taking care of that. And this program provides all the inspection forms and logs so that you can see if there was an issue identified, when it was taken care of, who was it taken care of by, and you know, whatever might be in there, if it's dangerous tree limbs overhanging, garbage, screw sticking out, whatever. But as far as any maintenance that we need to do to the playgrounds, there really is none. It's just more of inspecting for damage or anything that might be of danger.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
Just one last question. Is our only option comp pan, or were there other bidders?
Well, it didn't go to, yeah, it didn't go to bid because this is on contract. And it's a company that the town has used and liked over the past few years that I've been here. There are other playground vendors out there. I think it's good to stay with kind of uniformity throughout the parks with the same type of equipment. But you know, if one wants to, we can venture out and try to get different ideas from different companies. You know, the pricing is the pricing. It's always going to be, you know, they've got a price for every level. So if you get $100,000, this is what $100,000 will get you. It's kind of like, what do you like of the style? What do you like of, you know, a lot of the playgrounds that were out there in the 90s that are kind of getting old right now, those were all Little Tykes. That company is still available on some contracts, but these are kind of more modernized, kind of with the times type of designs here with Compan.
Thank you. All right, and thank you so much for joining us today and giving us an update on everything that's going on in the recreation department and your process about picking playgrounds. We're excited to have these new units installed, hopefully soon.
Yeah, it'd be great. Hopefully for the summer, sometime in the summer would be great.
Exactly. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone.
And that concludes our work session. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Our next meeting will be our legislative session on January 24th at 7:30 p.m. Thank you and have a good night.